All right, I know everybody's saying that's a Ruko 2, and that's what I thought too. I got this in a trade from a friend in Germany. He didn't say whether he wanted me to say his name, so I'm not going to. But I got a great trade in it. But this is actually a Zeiss Ikon made by Assa Abloy. I mean, it looks exactly like the Ruko, you know, same grooves here. These have got some kind of paint on them for identification. And it also has a Zeiss Ikon core. Check that out. So look at the keyway on these. Just awesome paracentric keyways. And the Zeiss Ikons are usually made with really good tolerances. This is what the key looks like. The bitting on this doesn't look too challenging, but again, given the tolerances on these Zeiss Ikons, I can't guarantee an open on this guy. Okay, it is key retaining, and when I look down inside of there, it looks like we are going to be able to remove the core, provided I can get the darn thing picked. So let's give it a try. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. German lock, it's going to require German picks. And I know that because of the paracentric keyway. And I have the perfect pick set here for it. Let's see what we got. Grab this guy. It is the German designed SS Dev pick that I'm going to use for the German lock in this. This one is actually a clone made by Multipick. Again, a German company. I don't know if I can get the 25 in there. It might work. So let's start out with the 25 thousandths. And I'll need some way to tension it. Again, these are always a lot of fun to tension. Try that. Tell you what, let's try bottom of the keyway, see if that will work. I mean, I can't use the bottom of that keyway anyway. Yeah, that way I don't have to worry about the top of the keyway. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to try to keep my hand kind of out of the way. Let's get everything centered, make sure the autofocus is going to be working for us. And I probably ought to overhaul that thing. Okay, apply light tension. And let's see if we can just... That was pin 2, pin 1, binder. I saw a very slight turn on the core there. Feels like pin 3, all the way on the bottom. That was pin 2 again. Thought I heard something click down. That felt like pin 5. And see if I can get into the very back here. He doesn't want to go. I'm going to wedge him up under there and then just kind of force him. Come on, get under there. That was pin 2 again. And I can't tell if that's warding or if I'm actually on a pin. It does not give me any counter rotation, so it's probably warding, be my guess. All right, where are you? Okay, I felt a very slight turn on the core when I touched pin 4. Again, no counter rotation, no indication there's any kind of security pin in here. We're working, I think, having picked Zeiss Ikons before, we're working with just standard pins, and they depend on the keyway and the tolerances to make themselves difficult to pick. All right, I'm going to move to the 15,000th pick. I think I'm having trouble getting behind pin 5 to get back there to pin 6. I'm going to try to go around the warding and then kind of shoehorn him up around there. There we go. Now I'm sure. See that? Now I'm sure I'm in the back. Now I pull it forward till I hit that last pin and then work forward from there. I felt a very slight click on pin 6, and you see it did turn just a little bit. Again, I think I'm back on the warding there. Pretty sure that is not a pin. But it's the only thing on the bottom, so I don't find it anywhere else except there, so let's give it a shot. I'm releasing my tension a little bit. Oh, good, I got more turn on the core. And he's now gone. I mean, he's not on the bottom anymore. Now I get a counter rotation right there on pin 3. Very, very slight. And there we go. All right, let's gut it. Let's find out what we got in here. It does seem we have at least one security pin, a spool, but other than that, I didn't feel anything security-wise. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's try this guy. Oh, he's too big. Let's try this guy. There we go. Let me tilt this down. Wow. All right. All right, nothing crazy up inside of there. Let's move out of there, and let's see what I've got to do to gut this thing. That's kind of unusual. It looks like the core is held in by this little brass thing right here. Yeah, so let's lock it up and remove one variable. Other way, Bill. What are you doing? Push those pins and see if we can get him to rotate. There we go. Now he's locked back up. Let's see if the key will fit in there without any problem. Yeah. So I didn't screw anything up. All right, now that we've got it kind of locked in place, let's see about removing that. There's a little groove right here, it looks like, and also on this side. I'm going to take my probe and just see if I can wedge it under there to push that thing. Yeah, that was nothing to it. That's fresh. I have never seen anything like that before. But I guess when it's tucked up there inside of that lock, it's not ever going to fall out. So take the key, stick them back in, rotate it to the 90 degrees, put the pins up top. Oh, we don't want to do that. I'm going to rotate them like that. The pins will come out right here, and that's because we've got this cut in the back. And if I turn it 90 degrees, it'll align that nasty groove perfectly with the pins, and they'll all come spewing into that little crack. So let's turn them like that. And because it is a Zeiss, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, just in case there's some weirdness. Let's put a shim as kind of a bridge. I'm going to shove it in as far as I can get it. Then, see if I can find the right size. That is not it. That might be it. All right, let's try this. All right, so we had a potential for 7 pins on this guy. It looks like there were only 6. Of course, you saw the key, and we already knew that. All right, let's start dumping stuff out here. See what we got. Oops, come on. Standard, 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 and a standard. I got these 2 reversed. And nothing else in there. No serrations, no grooves, no undercutting like we might expect on a Ruko. And let's see what we got here. Let me grab my tweezers and let's pull these guys out. Starting from the front. All right, there's our standard. Let me grab the spring because it's sticking up there and it's liable to start getting in our way. Okay, this next one looks like it is a security pin. It's barely protruding above the shear line. Oh, and I know why. We put that back in there and pull the shim out. Now, there we go. So it is a spool. And we expected to find a spool, at least one. Come on out of there, Mr. Spring. Awesome springs. Okay, we knew number 3 was a spool. In fact, it is. Number 2 did not act like a spool. At least I didn't detect him in the picking process. I didn't expect this guy either. Number 4 is also a spool. All right, let's flip it around and start from the rear. Give the lights a little better, I think. All right, number 6 is standard. Come on. We're almost home now. Number 5 also standard. Look at the corrosion on that guy. He's been in there for a while. Probably exposed to some weather at some point. And then the 2 springs. Yeah, that's not. It's all stock, it looks like, guys. I did not expect to find spools in this guy until I felt that counter rotation. So here's what we're looking at: a 6-pinner, 3 of them spools, all the rest standard. Again, Zeiss Ikon. They're after very paracentric keyways to keep us out of there, kind of deprive us access with a decent quality pick. Didn't work so well with these SS devs. Of course, SS dev designed it to defeat these type of locks. And the other thing, of course, is the very tight tolerances. So tight, in fact, I really didn't figure out that I had a spool except in chamber number 3. So a lot to be said for a Zeiss Ikon. Anyway, guys, appreciate your time. Stay safe. Stay legal.